like a compilation of some of the...
Optics here. Close range.
My man just bombed me! What's going on, guys? Welcome to part 2 of my Bronze to Diamond solo queue guide. Now, I just want to kind of go over the first part really quick. I think it was just sort of a way to learn how to take different fights in ranked. It is a little bit different from pubs, obviously. So that's just sort of like a basics for sort of 3v3 fights in general, and maybe a little bit about rotations. This is going to go a lot more in depth. So I'm going to be talking about sort of more in-depth and specific plays that, you know, higher tier players will make, and also just sort of like the thought process that happens. I hope you guys enjoy this video. So I do want to specify a couple things. When you are solo queuing, character choice is first off a huge thing. You definitely want to have someone with mobility if you are solo queuing, because you want to be the person that is able to leave the fight and get out and reset fully. It's really hard to solo queue as Gibby, as Caustic, someone who doesn't have any mobility at all. You definitely want to be able to get out of a situation using Wraith to queue out or Port out, using Octane to pad out, Pathfinder to grapple out, although in higher tier lobbies he's not as viable. You can maybe even do Bloodhound if you want to use your ult to leave a fight or something like that. If you are playing one of those characters, you have to be aware of when things are looking bad for your team. If your teammates get knocked and you guys haven't really done much damage to the other team, and it looks like, you know, it's going to be an easy 3v1 for them, you want to try and leave. You want to see if you can maybe get out and then come back for banners in order to maybe get a res off, or if you can't get banners, then rat it out and play for placement, that sort of stuff, because placement is super huge in ranked. It's not all about KP, although that really does help. You definitely want placement above everything else, because that's going to give you the most return, I guess. One other thing before we get into the gameplay: bronze, silver, and gold, you just want to push everything you possibly can. You want to get kills as much as possible. I know I just said placement thing is huge, but in these lower level lobbies, if you're not able to at least get a squad wipe every game, then you just need to go play pubs and improve your gun skill and things like that, because you're not going to strategically rotate and farm a bunch of RP in gold, because everyone's just pushing each other anyways. And also, if you just get a squad wipe, even without hitting like top 10 or anything like that, you can go positive. So just push as many fights as possible and play it like it's pubs. Play it like it's glorified pubs, because essentially that's what ranked is. The only difference is in higher tier lobbies, you know, rotations are more important. Third parties are more frequent, so you're having to worry about that a lot more, and basically how to maneuver out of those. So definitely, when you are in those lower lobbies, push fights and make sure you know how to fight with your team in order to put your team at the best advantage. And I do want to pull up this first clip here in order to show you what that looks like. In this clip, I am just trying to hold off a team that's trying to push us from above, and I get a couple of them weak, and so I tell my teammates to push, and we get the wipe. Pretty simple stuff. What a lot of players will do in like plat lobbies or gold lobbies or things like that is they will just poke at each other and just keep poking and keep poking. Even if they get the other team weak and they haven't sustained any damage, they'll continue to poke because they aren't confident enough to push up and take that advantage. If you have a significant health advantage, you have to push up and finish that fight quickly, so that A, you don't get third partied, and B, you don't let them heal and then get the advantage on you. So you have to take advantage when you have it, and you have to, you know, seize the opportunity when you put out damage. It's just as simple as that, because if fights take too long, then it's a higher chance that you get third partied, like I said before, and you run the risk of them being able to turn the fight around. So that's simple 3v3ing, gold, bronze, silver, summed up. If you're stuck in these ranks and it's because you can't win fights, you just need to go play pubs. Go play pubs and get better at the game, get better gun skill, and then you can come back to ranked. So a few things I want to mention that I think plat players need the most help with is less looting. So not staying in a box for too long, because then, you know, you get pulled up on or you get shot while you're in the box. You simply need to grab what is necessary and get out. Like, you should know what you need at this point. If you are in plat, you should know how much ammo you want to carry, how many nades you want to carry, how many bats, cells, meds, whatever. If you don't know that off the top of your head, you need to like figure that out or go watch an inventory management video. Unfortunately, this is not that. Look for your attachments that you need, switch armors if you need, and then extra meds and ammo, and that's it, right? Look for what you need. You don't need to look at the stuff that you already have, if that makes any sense. Another thing is knowing when to leave a fight. We talked about that in the sense of, you know, if you're losing the fight and you want to go rat, but you could also leave the fight as a 3-man, right? If you get third party. So if you get third party, you want to look for a way out. You want to use an octane pad or a wraith portal to get your entire team out of the situation. If maybe there are multiple teams in the area and you know you could potentially get third partied, maybe that's a good time to leave the fight. If you know that you need to get the zone and fighting this is probably a bad idea, that's when you need to leave. You like if you get the sensation in your brain of like, this is not a good fight to take, leave. Just dip. Just piece the scene. Like that's essentially what you need to be thinking about. Also, stay with your team as much as possible. If you are staying at a building, looting every single thing that is in there, and you notice that your team is gone, you need to get with them. You need to keep checking the map to make sure that you are near your teammates and are able to help them if they get into trouble. Because then if they're wandering around and they get pulled up by a 3-man, there's not much you can do. They're just going to get destroyed before you can even get there and help them out. So you need to stay with your team and make sure that you're close to each other so that you can help each other out and support each other during those fights, because that's going to be huge. Last thing, armor swaps. Swap onto death boxes. Swap onto armors that are on the ground. Even when you're in endgame, you can drop fresh armors so that you can swap to them instead of having to heal. Swapping to armors is huge because then you don't have to take the time to heal. It's so much quicker to get that fresh armor up. Practice swapping armors on death boxes, practice swapping armors that are left on the floor, all that kind of stuff. Because if you are able to master that, then you are able to handle fights so much better and so much cleaner. All right, with that said, now I'm going to be showing you guys this gameplay and showing you specific things from it that hopefully will give you some more insight into how a diamond player plays. Try to listen closely to the comms between me and my teammate here. We talk a lot about what our plan is, how we should rotate, and potentially if we should take this fight or not.
But it's so close.
I mean, we're gonna get at least almost three towards the end, so that's almost max KP. I'm okay with not fighting if we don't need to. Yeah, I see him right
Let's go
there.
this way.
Like,
Okay. We could just rotate left here and gatekeep them.
yeah.
45
Well,
seconds.
there might be a squad there, so you gotta watch it on your left.
Scanning the area.
There for now. I'm watching though.
Yeah, they just get me bubbled up there, so if we do get pushed.
What do you think is over
Actually, they're fighting
Tango
over there
spotted.
on another squad.
Yeah, that's in zone.
Yeah, I'm down for zone.
What do you think is over here?
Squad like fighting behind us?
Okay.
Tango spotted.
Get him from right here. You have the range
Enemy
of
over there.
easy third party.
For sure. They just finished. Go.
Get me on the ramp.
Oh, no, still more. Okay. Super low. Crack both. They're super hurt back there.
So notice how we have entered this fight. We have gotten, a couple kills, but these two teams are still kind of deadlocked with each other, and we have just created even more noise arriving and shooting our guns. This is probably a good time for us to leave. We've been here way too long. An ideal time is about 30 seconds, which we're just about at that mark, I'm pretty sure. So you want to try and push in, wipe, or kill as quickly as possible. If you snag a couple kills, great. Then you leave, you rotate away, and potentially you third party something else, or you just go zone if you're satisfied with how much KP you have. In this situation, we didn't exactly do that. We stayed here. I did check our back repeatedly, which is something very good to do so that you know that you're not getting third-partied. But we definitely should have rotated away from this a lot sooner than we did. So just something to keep in mind.
Gotta watch behind her.
If they come out of here, I gotta.
Where's this guy in the vault?
So after fighting for a bit, some of the teams start to back out, and we see on scan after a while that one person is left in the vault by themselves. Something that is very crucial is you want to try and take advantage of isolated players. So if you see that one person is separated from their team, that is a perfect opportunity for your team to push up on them, get that kill, and then turn the fight into a 3v2, or it's just free KP for you, and then you can move on.
Nice. In front?
So this is a perfect example of something else that you have to learn when you are ranking or even just playing Apex in general. The timing of this scan is extremely poor because I essentially am just running out into the open towards this person and hit the scan while they have an angle. And so that allows them to get free shots on me. Now, the scan was not needed at all. They're right here in front of me. I know where they are, and I can just push them with my whole team. It's one person, and it shouldn't be a big deal. However, if I feel that I need to scan, I should at least do it behind cover, so that way I'm not shot while I'm doing the scan animation.
Solo? Knocked? Don't take too much damage.
So the reason I say this is because if we do end up taking too much damage, even if one person takes too much damage, basically gets to the point where just one shot could hit them and kill them. Obviously, it's not going to happen right away if they're behind cover, but there is a very likely chance that the team that we're fighting will want to push us just off of that. So you have to think carefully about what the other team is going to do, depending on, how often you're shooting, how often you're taking damage, how much damage you're taking. Try to keep it to without getting cracked. If you can exchange shots without cracking your armor, then that is ideal. Obviously, higher level teams are going to be a little bit more tentative about pushing, but there are still a lot of teams that without hesitation will send on another team if they know that one or two of them is cracked.
They're padding. Shoot it out. Shot out their pad.
This is also a strategy that is very common in the Octane meta. If you see someone set a pad, like an Octane pad, you want to try and shoot it out because they're going to be able to use that to rotate to a better spot in the zone. And to prevent that, all you have to do is shoot out the pad and it destroys it. That is why for Octane mains, you want to try and put the pad where the enemy does not have line of sight on it. So it's very important that when you see an enemy team put down a pad, you shoot it out, because then that will make sure that they can't get the easy rotation that they were hoping for.
Nice. We can push up if you want. They're rezzing, they're rezzing. Push, push, push. Cracked Wraith. Push, 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 push.
Contact. Heads up. Dropping the
All dead, all dead. Nice, GG.
No, we gotta get the fuck out of here. I guess we could run around.
Let's go,
Okay,
let's go.
okay.
We can pad there, we can pad there. It's sideways, but it'll still work.
Nice.
Yeah, it's safe.
rings closing. I like pushing.
Need to recharge my shield.
Another important thing that our teammate did here is he communicated that his ult was up and that we could use it to rotate out of the sticky situation that we were in. So we were kind of pinned down by this team in the middle of Harvester, so we needed a way out. We figured that the way towards Sorting Factory would work, the little tunnel thing, but we needed a way to get there. So he provided his ult, we used it, we got out. Try to communicate what kind of ult you have that is coming up. If you are a Gibby, try to communicate that you have your ult up in case you need to keep the team back off of you. Communicate when you have your ult if you're a Valkyrie, so you can, you know, skydive over to another area. If you're Wraith, so you can pour it out, that kind of thing.
They dropped out right here.
Here's the stack of light.
Thank you. Yo, super low right here. Wait, Valk is one shot. Knocked her.
Enemy down. Recharging my shield.
Right here. We just into the whole team got him.
It's all good. Us and yeah, us and the other team.
I'm gonna just like ult after look for them. Again,
I'm out of cells as well.
I had just killed someone down on the bottom where I couldn't reach their death box. They had just been eliminated as well. And here I am up on this height complaining about not having heals, you know, communicating that to my teammate, but I had a portal. And this is something you can do as Wraith, as even Octane, literally anyone that can get you from one place to another with an ult. And that is ulting for loot. So if I had ported from that top tower down to the ground and gotten that loot, I would have been so much more kitted with cells, batteries, whatever that Valkyrie had on her. Now, you know, if she doesn't have anything, that's unfortunate, but it still gives me the chance of getting better stuff if I use the port to get to the death box and loot it to have a better chance to win the game.
You out of what?
I'm out of cells, shielding.
Out of cells? I only have 2 bats.
I'm blowing their door open. On your roof, on your roof. 66. Knocked.
They're all low. They're all low.
Nice, nice, nice.
So I'm not really sure if this is a panic phase or if I was actually being big brain about this, but I phased here specifically to try and stall out the team, or at least the Valkyrie that was pushing me. I knew we had 1 knock. However, I knew that I was already low from those Valkyrie rockets, so I didn't want to give my team an even playing field with this team. I wanted us to keep the advantage here and have the numbers advantage. So I didn't want to go down. I didn't want to turn the tide of this fight for the enemy team. So I phased in order to try and stall so that my teammates could possibly shoot at the Valkyrie, and also just to kind of see what was around me, because when you are in phase, you can clearly see where your teammates are and where the enemies are, and I wanted to see them outlined in order to kind of tell, you know, get my bearings, kind of reevaluate the situation, and then move on from there.
They're rezzing. Knocked.
One of these has cells.
Let's go. GG's.
Reloading.
No shot, bro. We split up hard there.
Jumping.
How?
I'll tell you how. Basically, what happened in this situation was Rev had pushed this team by himself, split from us, and then I, myself, had gone to try and help him, with Bloodhound off doing their own thing, probably scanning beacon by themselves, which you should not do, like, ever, especially if your team is in the middle of a fight. But I was feeling pretty confident. I felt like I could take on this team, and so that is what I attempted to do. I was feeling pretty successful at it. He had already gotten a knock, so it was already 1v2, and I had already cracked one, so I felt like this was a fight I could easily take. However, even after knocking someone, leaving it into a 1v1 situation, I opened myself up for this person to absolutely beat me to like 1 HP. And it's simply for the fact that I did not thirst my kill and shield swap. I had plenty of time in me reloading and then backing up and trying to heal that I could have thirsted the octane and shield swapped instead of trying to back up to heal. A lot of times that is going to be the strategy if you want to play extremely aggressive, because if you push in, get a knock or two, and then back out to heal, they have the opportunity to res and then get their numbers back up. You don't want that. You want to be able to thirst kills, not only so they don't res, but so that you don't have to take the time to heal and you can just shield swap and keep the fight going.
Just using a Phoenix kit.
Coming. All dead. Heal up.
We're diamond, chat, let's go!
I have pad. This is actually super tough.
The battle belongs to only us now. Taking a moment to breathe. Battling the enemy. Scanning.
Where are they? Okay, coming.
I have fallen.
Ah.
Making contact with enemy.
So I did slightly end up abandoning my team here, but it was simply for the fact that I knew in my head where I needed to go in order to get in the best position here, and it was hard for me to communicate that to my team. I still struggle with communicating to my teammates what needs to happen, what rotation needs to happen in order for us to win, and why that is in a short amount of time. And so when I am in the zone and very focused, it's hard for me to say, hey, we should go this way, and that way we'll win the game if we go over here. So essentially, instead of just running into this dude with a Kraber and potentially dying to the Kraber, I instead try to circle around towards the zone so that I then have zone advantage on him and he has to push to me instead of the other way around. So I maneuver as best as possible, you know, trying to dodge shots, and I think I did dodge one right before hitting the second pad. And I just maneuver as much as possible, stim as much as possible in order so that this guy cannot hit me very easily and that I can get to the position I need to.
Looking. Yep. Okay, we're not gonna take a risk anymore.
One last thing as this game ends, if you want to watch it back, there is a moment in this final push as I swing the corner where I start to hip fire and then ADS a little bit and I'm just missing shots. And I take a second to reset my aim. So I stop ADSing, stop moving for a second, and then I recenter myself and aim exactly where I want to aim at and I know he's going to be, and shoot and hit him with the final last bullet to win the game. Sometimes that is the difference. Sometimes you need to realize when you are panicking and freaking out and anxious about what's going on, and you need to find a way to center yourself and refocus in order to let yourself grab the dub. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you a lot. Please let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more content like this. I would really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to the channel. I'll be trying to post weekly videos from here on out. I've been slacking a lot, but you'll also see daily shorts from me, well, almost daily, here on the Glory Gaming channel. Really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Huge games, GG's. Oh. We did it, chat. We solo queue to diamond.